I think the IPCC report clearest and strongest measure was that we are running out of time. It's important to stay below 1.5 degrees, not 2 degrees. So again, I think it's very important that we move from actually writing reports and inquiries and actually come to action. And I think we should share the good examples, and Vasakronan is definitely a good example for the real estate sector. Find them and make sure that everybody understands that the way forward is the green way, and it's mitigating risk and enhancing your returns and lowering your cost of capital.
I'm afraid that we're acting, but we're actually not doing enough, and that's why I really would like to encourage companies to set science-based targets.
And Mats, related to the UK.
So what we can do is actually bring those good examples to UK, and I'm sure there are good examples in UK that we can actually pick up and implement in Sweden. So there ought to be an openness, because if we're going to save this globe, we need to come together and do it on a global basis.
What I found quite interesting was how we've always seen the Nordics leading on the green finance or the sustainable finance agenda, and how much the UK has been looking to that and has then developed that into them being a pretty key service provider, not just within UK, within Europe, but also globally, and how they've learned from the Nordics on that. But interesting how the Nordics don't see themselves as driving this agenda anymore, or leaders, and that trying to figure out, well, what is the next step for the Nordic region? I think I was quite impressed with Vasakronan on their very early entrance into the market and pushing ahead. Being the first to issue green paper is pretty phenomenal, and especially given it's a very challenging area in which their assets are categorized, and energy efficiency for the built environment, it's not an easy space to be able to measure, and so I think they're doing a fantastic job. In terms of just scaling up issuance more generally, and what we need to be seeing more of is, well, you know, it's simply a matter of more outreach and education, particularly to the corporate sector, on the opportunity. I think there's been too much on scapegoating around, well, there's no price, so we won't issue. We need to see more corporates coming to market, and most importantly, we need to see more governments. We need to see more sovereign issuance. I think that was one of a really good point made by Mats, in the sense that we really do need to see sovereigns issuing green bonds. This sets benchmarks, it sets best practice, it gets their local markets excited, it gets the private players on board. This is something that we really need to see more.
I think banks in general like to be in the market where the market is at. Certainly so do we. And clearly sustainability is a very big topic for us at Nordea. We are the leading and the largest bank in the Nordic region, and we're not just focusing on one area, but it's really across the entire portfolio. Well, the UK, or London as it was also referenced here, is clearly a leader, or at least a leader from financial discussions. Perhaps we haven't seen that much green bond supply as people might have hoped from the UK. I think many expect that to come. Clearly it's a market, or it's an area where we have a lot of stakeholders. Investors are there, issuers are there, politicians, stakeholders and other opinion makers are there. So I think the UK as a whole has a very important role to play, regardless of Brexit or not, and I very much expect that to continue to be so.
We have a lot of good stories to tell each other, and I think from those good stories we're going to learn a lot. I think it's different stories. Here you have more practical examples in Sweden where companies like Vasakronan or Skanska or SEB have made issues and have used those for, say, building housing technology. We have a lot to learn from that. London as a financial centre has done some very interesting things around financial products, and I think we can all share that information too.
Thanks, Sir Roger.
Sure.
Thank you. Bye.